Oh, there we go. Sorted.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
cool. So we're recording. So, Raj, will you introduce yourself?
Okay, guys, my name is Roger. From Virtual Assistants, VAs for SAs on Facebook. We're based in the UK. We provide services for virtual assistants for the SA operating business.
Nice. And how long have you been in? I know that the VA thing is relatively new, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Relatively
I
new.
mean, I've been in the business for now coming to, I'd say, what are we now, 2024, say roughly 5 to 6 years now.
Nice.
Okay. It was something between me and my business partner.
Yeah.
We jumped on. He was sort of the brains around that side of the business to start off with, to be fair.
Yeah.
So I've been sort of going in and out of work and having a look at other businesses. You've always been the sort of wheeler dealer trying to look at some sort of business venture from school going all the way up
Yeah.
throughout family of business people and everything. So you've always wanted to have a look at different businesses.
Mm.
And it's just obviously trial and error, as
Yeah.
you'd know, being in business. When we sort of jumped onto the business, it was a great sort of start, but then good old COVID hit everybody,
Yeah.
and the whole sort of business model took a standstill.
Yeah.
So we sat down and sort of worked out the business itself, and that was from there we sort of started on the operating side of business.
Nice. Nice. So what do you predominantly manage for other people? Manage the properties for other people?
Well, so when we started off originally, service accommodation was just purely for ourselves.
Yeah.
It was our own business. We were managing the properties ourselves. We were picking up properties and sort of putting them on listings and Airbnb, Booking.com, and just going down the normal route of anybody that would come onto this business. I'd say, a bit afterwards, really, I'd say just before we started the VA company, we started to jump onto management.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the sort of time scale we jumped onto management. And there's a whole sort of reason behind it why we jumped onto management from how we transitioned from, say, our own service accommodations to then management and then having a look at the VA side of things.
Mm. I like that. It's what I feel like when you start in one business, like what you would normally see as a problem, like oh, it's hard to find a decent VA. Like you've just
Yeah.
taken it and been like, let's make something out of it.
I mean, to be honest with you, Declan, for us, the main factor of it was to see with what we were doing at first with the company, we were scaling the growth of the business was going. It was literally like this. From one week, we've got four properties. From four properties, it jumped on to 10 properties. And we were just trying to get properties on, get properties on. My business partner was obviously just picking up properties as we were sort of going moving forward. A lot of investors coming in, things like that. So business was growing. Obviously, whilst it was growing, we worked out that obviously it can't be a one man, two-man band. We need to
Yeah.
obviously get virtual assistants. And at that time, we were told that the virtual assistant market is within the Philippines.
Yes.
Lo and behold, we took the VAs on. We had 24/7 VA services because obviously the way the business was operating, it then became a bit of a thing where we started to see that, hold on a second, our growth of where the business was going was fine, but the
Yeah.
communication side, the background element of it was actually dipping down.
Mm.
That was when I sort of said to him that, look, let's hold fire with everything. Let's not take no more properties on. Let's sit down and work out what's going on with the business to
Yeah.
see with the whole model. We sat down to work out everything and we realized that the communication wasn't correct.
Yeah.
For example, if you got one property there and the guest is sending the communication could be, where's the lockbox?
Hmm.
And they know they have files, they have fold to explain everything. This is where
Yeah.
this is. All the VA would need to do is obviously respond to customer. Instead, they're telling them about the boiler. So I was like, hold on, the questions about a lockbox, you're talking about a boiler
Yeah.
system here. What's going on here? Lo and behold, we realized that the business, the VAs that we were using, they were working with multiple other people at the same time.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I get the fact that obviously, look, being a person who's into business or anything, I get the fact that you want to do multiple things,
Yeah.
but you can only do multiple things one at a time.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's what I believe. Like mentally, you don't want to drain yourself out, and you can't be doing
Mm.
multiple things. And for us, that took a massive toll in our business to start off with. You know,
Yeah.
about communication, guest communications were coming up and down. It took a massive effect. So that's when we sort of took a step back put everything on hold, scaled down all our properties,
Yeah.
told the VAs that look, we need to stop, and it was costing UK pound sterling. We're looking at £8,000 a month, which is a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
Which you look at. Obviously, when you're in this operating business, there's so much money going in and out,
Mm.
you don't really realize.
Yes.
And at that time, obviously, we had the accountant that we spoke to as well. The accountant was getting frustrated with all the money going in and out. There was like,
Yeah.
what's going on here? We're having to recruit somebody new just for you guys there. So
Yeah.
it was something to obviously have a look at then. So we sat down and said, let's have a look at let's just take a break for a bit. Let's analyze everything.
Hmm.
And I think it was that sort of step back that we took to say, okay, let's analyze everything. My business partner then decided to move abroad.
Yeah.
We were still sort of sitting down working out. He moved abroad and got married, and he said that, look, why don't we do something different now? So we sort of were working out on the model of having our own VAs.
Yeah.
So then we transitioned from service accommodation of our own to managing service accommodation properties. So whilst we were managing service accommodations, we then decided to add on the VAs for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's where this whole sort of plan, let's see how the VA can work. Are we able to train a VA to
Yeah.
understand how this model works, to set up on individual client properties? We didn't
Mm.
put the client properties under our own umbrella. We let that go under their own business. So technically,
Yeah.
management style that we're doing was we were letting their business flourish, let them become what it is, but helping and supporting them on the back end.
Yeah.
And that's where the VAs to essays came in, and we thought, okay, we're quite active on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Let's launch it and see how it's been. And now we're 7 months in. I think we're now 15 clients we've got now with
Nice.
us, do 24 hours, and it's still growing. And honestly, it wasn't something that I imagined that'd be this quick of a growth. But we're enjoying it every bit. We're now soon to launch a new office as well. As the growth
Awesome.
is going well.
That's amazing. And I've seen a lot of positive feedback on social media about your VA. So you're obviously doing something right. And as you said, like with when you had to take a step back from the business, the guest experience in the serviced accommodation market is all that matters, really. If they're not having a good experience, then you're not going to get a positive review, and it has a knock-on effect. So for you to be able to train VAs up, I mean, I got very lucky. I've got my own VA who's from the Philippines, and he was the first guy I hired, and he's been fantastic. Like he'll do absolutely anything. He goes above and beyond. But I know that there's a lot of people out there that have had bad experience. So I think the fact that you've set up this and you've basically filled the void. There's a bit of a void, and you've found what that is, and you've found a way to fill it, and you're giving people jobs in the Philippines, and you are also helping your clients with 24-hour guest communications.
I mean, to let you know, the funny thing is, a lot of people think the VAs are all Philippine. Our VAs
Mm.
actually are based in Pakistan.
Oh wow, okay. That's
So
different.
this is
Yeah.
uh, so this is somewhere where a lot of people see is completely different. Being Pakistan, they see it and hear so much on the news and so much other things. But to be honest with
Mm.
you, all of our VAs are all based in Pakistan. We have an
Nice.
office there. Our VAs actually work from our offices.
Yeah.
Reason why we've done it that way is so that we're able to we're compliant, security compliant as well internationally.
Yeah.
We're UK compliant as well. Apart from that, we obviously make sure that they have a support network with them.
Yeah.
Because again, there's one thing that I believe that generally when you see people, they have this thing that they'll be like, okay, you know what, I could do this, I could do that, and I could do this. When it comes down to the workload, sometimes it can become quite a bit of a workload.
Yeah.
And if you've got a support network there of your team leads,
Yes.
management, and obviously the business partner there to help and support them, it makes them life a lot easier.
Of
At the end of
course.
the day, we feel that if our staff is working with ease, they're able to do their job correctly and understand and keep that professionalism, then what they're doing for the client at the end of the day is going to provide a great service and a great job.
Hmm.
Because nowadays, as you see, with everything you look at nowadays, I mean, you could say, if I had to say to you now, Declan, book a holiday for Dubai, for example, the
Yeah.
first thing you're going to do is have a look at the reviews.
Yeah, of
You're going to
course.
check the hotel. You're going to see reviews here. You're going to see reviews there. The businesses are all based on client, customer reviews.
Hmm.
And if a VA is not able to provide your guests the best possible service they can, that's an impression of your business.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure that our VAs who are working for you, they're providing you the best service, they're providing your business the best service. So that by the end of the day, you guys are still having that repeat business and building that capital.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. But
that's we're
that's
obviously
the belief system you've got, mate. It obviously shows through as well. Like you and your business partner have obviously got morals that you're trying to build your business on, and I think that shines through on social media. You're a very big name in social media, like in the service accommodation groups. You're always there. Do you know what I mean? Like every time I see a post, I see your name underneath it, whether that's just liking, commenting. Like you're so involved, and I feel like most people in these social media groups now will know your name. I'll be very surprised if somebody doesn't recognize your name. So you're obviously you're doing things right, mate.
I hope so. I hope so. We're still in trial phases of loads of things at the moment.
Yeah.
But it just, I mean, to be honest with you, look, it was one thing that you said as well, Declan, that when you've got a VA, it's that
Mhm.
relationship and rapport you build.
Yeah.
Not every single person's going to be the same. You
Hmm.
know, you can't. We're all human being at the end of the day. I haven't got AI bots there that are working for us. No, we're all
Yeah.
humans. So at the end of the day, when VAs are working for us or they're working for yourself, we want to make sure they have that relationship with you as well. And that's
Yeah.
one thing that we train them up on everything basic on to understand how the OTA work,
Mm.
how the client guest communications work. So we do a lot of training or trainers there as well that train them on different platforms as well. And based on that platform, we obviously work out to say, this is what we're going to be doing. This is how we can support them. But even though that we can provide them things, if I had to come to you now and say, okay, Declan, how would you provide your service? What is it you do in your back office?
Hmm.
You've got your own element of Google Drive. I've
Yeah.
put this here. I've got this here. This is how we do. And that's where we give the VA the opportunity to say, okay, you're going to work with them. We'll give them a certain deal. You will be covering the training method. You need to obviously first of all understand how your client works, what their work method is.
Yeah.
Uh, are they happy and work well with you? Can they gel well with you?
Yeah.
And obviously you do, it's for us, like I said, it's been 7 months only, and we still get the odd few we've had. I think one or two we've had where we've get the clients obviously said that look, it's not really working well for me, the VA. Can we have a look at swapping the VA?
Yeah.
It's not been an issue. We've had a look at swap the VA, and lo and behold, it's worked great for them.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, like it's everyone's got their own individual needs, aren't they? And I think that's
Exactly.
and especially with that sort of thing, like your VAs could be working for somebody that has one or two properties, or
Mm,
they could be working for somebody that's been in the property game for 30 plus years and they've got over 30 properties. Like them two clients are going to have very different outlooks and strategies on what they want doing. So it's
definitely,
definitely a
definitely. I mean, you,
tricky one.
you're gonna see that the sort of clients we'll get people, believe it or not, we'll get doctors who are
Mm,
coming in. Obviously, the current climate of business and everything, and financial crisis, people are looking to have side hustles.
yeah,
And with the ease of someone who's a doctor, for example, or someone who's working as a normal 9 to 5 job, they've now got this property. They still want to earn their normal income
of course.
and be able to earn this extra income coming in. Excuse me. So by them doing that, the only way they can do that is by them saying, we need somebody else to control our back office for us.
Yeah,
And that's also another way that we've sat down and worked out a price bracket on our VAs as well. A lot of people, I don't know if you've seen, obviously they would look and they say, it's if you've got the premium price, you're paying for premium service.
yeah,
But what we've done is we've said, we'll give you premium prices at a reduced price.
yeah,
So
yeah.
premium service you'll get at a reduced price. And the reason why we feel is that why should we have to burden a person who's trying to do a side hustle or
Hmm.
trying to have a full-time business, get them good quality staffing, somebody who can do everything they need. But let's make sure the price can be matched correctly.
Yeah,
Our staff are in jobs, they're earning good money.
yeah.
We're also obviously turning over something there as well. And
Hmm.
obviously the client there is happy as well, and their business is turning over.
Yeah,
So it's a circle. It's a full circle. That's what we believe in, a full circle of life and business.
yeah. 100%. I think that's the problem with that's why a lot of people want the side hustles. Not even want. I think that's why a lot of people need the side hustles now because the
Exactly.
big corporations that run the countries, they don't have that outlook on things, unfortunately, do they?
Definitely not. Definitely. I mean, look, the other thing is, when we were speaking before about mental health and things like that.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a person, speaking about it for myself, really, then I'll say a family person who's got
Hmm.
family, kids. You know, you want to spend that quality time with your family as well.
Yeah.
You want to spend that, and at the start of any business, it becomes quite daunting to sort of sit down and say, okay, look, I've still got the bills coming in. I've still got this to do. I need
Yeah.
to now make sure that we cover this. But you still want to spend that quality time with your family. You
Yeah, of
still want to be
course.
able to provide for them. Um, and by taking that sort of time away and giving that workload to somebody else to now do for you,
Yeah.
and you're able to spend at least that quality time. I'm not saying financially, but I'm saying sort of that
Mhm.
quality family time.
Yeah.
You now have that opportunity. That's where the sort of VA comes into it,
Yeah. I
and that's what
completely
we
agree.
that's
Yeah.
what we look at.
I think that it's so important. And like especially I'm sure you had the same experience when you started the business. For me, I was, initially when I first started in the rent to rent business, I was like, I'll do everything myself. Like keep costs down, do everything myself. And that was sweet. But when you're working full time and you're trying to take on a property every month and it's like taking you 2 weeks to set it up and then you've got to go through setting it all up online and stuff like I was it nailed me. It absolutely nailed me down. Like it's not sustainable to do long term. So I think a VA is it's the perfect person to put into your business because once you've got it all set up, as you know, with the guest communications and stuff, a lot of it can be automated. So all you need really is the VA that's going to be there to answer the quick questions when you're sleeping or
Exactly.
whatever it is, or when you're spending that quality time with your family. Little things, a lot of people would be like, "Oh, I'll just do it myself." Like it's only a couple of messages, but them couple of messages every other hour, like it soon adds up.
110%. I mean, look, when you're setting up a property, I remember the first time when we were doing these sort of things, we were sort of in and out of the property, worrying about the monthly bill that's going to come out for the
Mm.
property, then sitting there until 2 o'clock at night doing the painting ourselves, decorating it. Oh God, we can't do the hammer and drilling at this time because we're based in Canary Wharf. You know, you've got certain rules and regulations there. You've
Yeah.
got parking there, and I don't know if you've where we're based in London to be going from one part of London to the other. I'd rather jump in the car and drive down to Birmingham. That's how long it
Really?
takes to get from one part to the other part of London now. It's the traffic is immense. So you've got to
Mhm.
work at traffic times then. And it was starting to become all this as well. And you're driving, you're trying to now say, okay, I need to park up, I need to guest communication, or you jump on that and I'll jump on this. Yeah, it was getting to be a bit much. And that's where we've seen that with the VAs, it's helped them massively. It's helped
Yeah.
massively. We just feel that a lot of the time, and this is one thing I always would say to anybody that's looking to come into this side of business, is when you're scaling, take your time.
Mm.
Take your time to scale. Apart from that, make sure you've got the right cleaning teams.
Yeah.
You know, see what sort of teams you've got there. Have a back office team that's correct as well,
Yeah.
because it would help your business massively to grow. If you've got those elements there with you, you would see the business will grow and grow and grow without you even realizing.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more with that. I think the importance of not rushing. Like you can't overstate that point. That was something that I did when starting, taking any property I could get because I was like, oh,
Mm.
if somebody said yes, like I'd message everybody, and if somebody said yes, I'd be like, awesome. But I learned a lot of lessons along the way. Like I took on a grade two listed building. The bills
Wow.
cost an absolute fortune. Like it killed the profit of the deal. And people make that mistake all the time. So same with like apartments. People, jumping at the chance to get an apartment, but they've not checked the head lease, and it turns out that they actually can't run a business on the premises. And then just take your time and make sure that you're 100% happy with the choices that you make.
Exactly. The thing is, when you see a lot of people when they sit down and look at the business and you start off with the business, it's one of those things they've sat down, they've maybe watched YouTube videos or
Mm,
they've paid X amount of money on a mentorship and they'll be like, okay, you know what? I can get, I've got this property now. Oh, let me get this property now. Oh, I've got a really good deal. Let me get a 6 block property or let me get a 12 block
mm,
property. I'll have the investors for this. I'll have this and I'll do this. But then again, what will start happening? You'll see their growth would automatic. It's not really their growth. It will stop. It was mentally they'll get drained out.
Hmm.
Secondly, they won't realize from what bill to what bill is going on.
Yeah.
They're trying to go from one property to pay for the other property.
Hmm.
And then you never sit down and actually work out your what is your time worth.
Yeah.
And that's what when you're in business generally, a lot of people we stop to think that the time that I'm actually spending in this, what is my worth?
Mm.
Am I actually making to that amount, or am I just draining myself out for this itself?
Yeah. It's such a good point as well because when you when you flip that around, if you was to work for somebody, everybody knows what they're happy to work for. Do like if somebody said to me, "Oh,
Yeah,
I'll pay
definitely.
£20 an hour for whatever it is," I'd be like, or yeah, okay, that's acceptable. But when it's your own business, obviously you have to make sacrifices. But I feel like it's for me especially, it was I couldn't really draw the line. Like I was willing to sacrifice, and then after sacrificing and not getting anything in return in the short term, I was just like, maybe this is business. But it's not, is it? Like you have to be rewarded for what you're doing because otherwise you can do it short term and you're gonna lose interest.
The thing is, when we say rewarded, it's like I've seen it with a number of different people that we
Mm.
know, family, friends, and so forth that have had businesses, and when they start rewarding themselves too early, I feel
Mm.
the rewards become quite lavish because obviously
Yes.
if you've got a business, the accountant might say, oh, why don't you buy a new car?
Yeah.
You can get this car, and that sort of car becomes okay. I'll put that under the business finance.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll write that off here. We'll do this here. We'll purchase a new TV. It becomes quite much too much then, to be fair,
Yeah.
for some. And I think at that point in time, you need to really sort of sit down and first of all work out, okay, what is my base? What
Yeah.
can I be happy with? Because when you're working in a normal job, 9 to 5 job, you're working, and wherever you're working, okay, my bills are X amount.
Yeah.
I cover all my bills. Is that all I'm sort of working towards? I need a
Hmm.
bit of money for holiday. So you do the overtime, you do this,
Yeah.
but you've got steady income coming in. When you've got your own business, that's when you sort of sit down and you want to work out week from week. Okay, am I going to make that money this week?
Yeah.
Have I got those things in place? What plan of action have I got in place now? I've got bills here to pay. I've got this here to pay. What plan of action do I have in place?
Mm.
And by having these things, like for example, having a VA on board and things like that, you're trying to work out your plan of action on the side itself without
Yeah.
having to sit down and worry about the nitty gritty of your communications, your listings, your anything you're looking to do regarding the property itself.
Mm.
This is all covered now. Now you can sit down and work out, okay, how am I going to strategize? What is my next goal for the next 3 months? I've got a long-term goal, I've got short-term goals, I've got weekly goals. It's like a KPI that we set. And I love the KPIs because I've been in sales all my life. So
Okay.
the sort of KPI strategy of sitting down and working out, okay, how am I going to break this down? I'm going to break it down to weekly, hourly
Mm.
targets and things like that for myself. And I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, I think setting goals, targets, whatever you want to call them, is super important in every aspect of your life, to be fair. I'm not really goal oriented, as in I'm not because my goals change so often. So I'm like, I'll set a goal, but in my head, I'm like, probably not going to reach that because I'm going to get halfway there and then I'm going to want to shoot over this way. So like, I love the journey, but I love having that goal there because then that's what you're working towards.
That's exactly that there itself, Declan, is one of those things that you'd see a person who has that sort of entrepreneurial flair in them, they'll
Mm.
always change their goals.
Yeah,
Yes, you have a goal and so that whole business thing that we have, let's set a business goal. We
yeah,
know that business goal is set because you want to hit a certain business target.
yeah,
But then a goal that you individually have, you'll be sitting there, you've got one goal, and maybe, I don't know, 3 months down the line, a new video comes up of AI, and you've said, hold on, I can add this to the business, or
yeah.
I can set up a new business by doing this, or now I have got a VA, I can set up a Discord group.
Hmm.
The whole goal's now changed.
Yes,
You now said, okay, my goal's now changed because I've got a new business involved into this now.
yeah,
As a and the thing is, it's quite funny. I speak to quite a lot of the clients, and they say to me, I thought having a VA will make my life easier. By me having a VA, I've just jumped onto another business now, and I've added on another business now. It's just one of those things. It's being people
Yeah,
having that entrepreneurial flair. You're always going to want to add more and more to yourself, and
yeah,
quite bad to say, but we love that. We love. I think we love to see that we're busy.
yes, yeah. It's a That's an interesting one actually, because like, I feel like this. Like I've always got to be busy. Always.
Exactly.
Like if I achieve something, I don't stop to celebrate. I'm just like, right, that's done. Let's move on.
Exactly.
I'm guessing you're very similar to that.
It's really bad. I think my wife always says to me that you're glued on your phone all the time.
Mm,
One thing stops, and then I'm on the phone with another thing, and then it's another thing, and then you're trying to sort out another thing. So now with the business, with having the virtual assistant business, we're now growing the offices. We've got another office opening up soon,
yeah.
which currently we're at 22 staff, and we're going to be opening up to a 60-seater office.
Wow.
The growth on that, because we look to have a training center in there and everything as well. So we're going to have a
Yeah.
separate training center. Um, as we're based in Pakistan, we look to have it for we want it to be equal for both parties. So, for example, we want to where the women will feel a lot easier to come in and work as well. The
Yeah.
guys will feel a lot easier. So that side of the business we're growing. We've got a lot of other businesses we're trying to add. We're trying to put the whole property market in a 360 that we're able to provide you all services.
Yeah.
Uh, we've got a few partnership deals now coming up in Dubai as well for a
Nice.
lot of people that want to have a look at properties over there. We're looking to expand, obviously, the VA side of business over there as well.
Yeah.
Ideally, I feel the VA business is such a business, and where we're situated in Pakistan as well. If you have a look at geographically, they're 5 hours away from here. They're 5 hours away from here. So
Yeah.
that part of Asia, generally speaking, you're bang smack in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I had somebody from the UK, for example, and I had a client in Australia, you're
Yeah.
10 hours difference.
Hmm.
You're going to have somebody who's now going to sleep and somebody who's now fully awake. Are they actually responding to your guest communication correctly or not?
Hmm.
Where if you've got someone who's in the middle, the
Yeah.
time difference is not as that bad. You
Yeah.
can work with that well. You can
Yeah.
work either backwards or forwards. So that's where we're situated there. That's a benefit that we've got, that we can work with either or clients.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. So, with everything you've got going on, what do you do, or what do you find helps for you to keep? Not that there's any such thing as a balance when you've got your own business, but what do you do to keep yourself on a level where you know, all right, this is sustainable?
On a level, I'd say I don't think I'm ever on a level, to be honest with you. Uh, and that's the God's honest truth. I don't think I'm ever sitting there on a level. You're always sitting there. You're trying to work out different
Hmm.
strategies. You want to now sit down. I think me and my partner, we sat down and we worked out different models to say, the business is going this way. We need to stop and work it on this way. You now look after operations. I look after sales,
Yeah.
or I'll look after operation and sales. You look at the marketing side of things. So we're obviously working. There's always chop and change going on. I think it's sort of my sanity time, to be honest with you, and that's what I'll call it. Is when I go to the gym.
Nice. Yeah.
I think that's a me time.
Yeah.
It's not about going there, going seeing people, whatever. My me time is at the gym, and even when I'm there and I'm running on the treadmill, I've got some sort of podcast playing. I've got something or other playing in the back of
Yeah.
my head, sitting there in the headphones, going, okay, oh,
Hmm.
that looks interesting. Okay, that looks interesting.
Yeah.
Can we incorporate that in some way, or can we have a look at something like that? So there's not really that sort of sanity time. Yeah, we get time with the kids, the family,
Yeah.
got a bit of time, go see a few friends here and there. Even with that, it's not as much as it was before.
Yeah.
Obviously, once you start doing your own business and everything, your focus and everything more sort of inclined towards the business and
Yeah.
having that. And that's it really. I think the spiritual time is that when I get a chance to sit down and pray,
Hmm.
spiritual in that essence, where I sit down and pray much as I can.
Yeah.
Um, and that's my sort of quiet time to sort of say, okay, because that's when I feel you're defocused from everything. And that's, to be honest with you, that's the only time I actually defocus from anything else,
Yeah.
is when I sit down and pray. That's when everything around me, I'll sort of blockade that out completely.
Yeah. Okay.
And that gives me that little recharge to get back into flow.
Hmm.
Where people say you sleep, you should have a good hour's sleep. If you run the business, you don't run on sleep, you run on a thing called Duracell battery or a bit of a
Yeah.
black coffee. Those half an hour power naps,
Yeah.
they do wonders. I was reading about statistically, they reckon power naps are quite good for you actually. So
Yeah, I've read quite a few things on that. I just
yeah,
yeah, every now and then it's all right. But I think the like sustainability wise with like what you just mentioned, then when you get your own business, it's completely different. One thing that I noticed was there's sort of like a think of like a speedo limiter in a car. I feel like
yeah,
we've all got one in our head, and
mm,
if you keep pushing through, like you know, you'll have a real hard week and you'll be absolutely exhausted. But then the next week, everything that you did becomes a little bit easier, and you
definitely.
just keep nudging that limiter up. I think a lot of people, like when they're working full time and they're exhausted after work, they think, how does anyone do this? Like, how does anyone else go to work all day and then come back and run a business? Like, for me, it's not easy. Like, it's never going to be easy, is it? But I think the more you do it, the easier it gets. And I think that's like a lot of people, if they're on the fence about starting because they don't think they've got time, which is the biggest one, like, I don't have time. You have got time. Like, wake up a little bit earlier or go to sleep a little bit later, whatever it is. If you really do want it, you'll make the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's enough hours in the day.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I think, look, Declan, there are times that as a person you do exhaust yourself.
Hmm.
Let's be real, you do exhaust yourself, and I think sometimes you should sit down and really get that time to sort of just relax and
Yeah.
have that bit of wind down time. Because if you're gonna overexert yourself and exhaust yourself, you're not going to be able to function correctly.
No.
Mentally, you're going to see you see it all the time. I've seen it in my wife. I've seen it in
Hmm.
other friends of mine as well, where you overexhaust yourself. I mean, me myself as well. Sometimes I
Yeah.
can feel that I do overexhaust myself, but that little thing you have mentally, where out there, okay, I need a bit of a power nap, or
Yeah.
I just need to work out now. Just need to sort of recharge myself back up again. And that's the sort of time I have. Yes. So, for example, this week the goals and plans are set up that I need to sit down with all my whole team. I need to restructure things with them. I need to sit down and work out how we're going to set goals and targets for them,
Mm.
what we want to achieve with the meetings that we want to do, how we're going to go forward with the clients. What other elements are we now going to add on to the business? How are those going to work? So I'll strategize my week from there. Generally, either in the night or in the morning when I come in, first thing is to sit down and work out, okay, this is the game plan.
Yeah.
My business partner will get me all the calls ready, say that, look, you've got these calls. And generally, one thing I do myself is I take the calls that I have with the clients, the onboarding calls myself.
Hmm.
The reason behind that is not that I can't get a VA to do that. I can have a VA to have those onboarding calls.
Yeah.
Um, I keep. I want to have that relationship with my clients. I want to know, what is it my clients got? How many properties have they got?
Hmm.
You know, is this client working on one property or are they working on 40 properties?
Yeah.
Do I provide them a 24/7 service or do I provide them a 15-hour service that we have? What is it that we want to do? It's not always about the money factor that we're going to say that I want to throw 20 hours on every single person or 24/7 on every single person.
Yeah.
And it's not justifiable for me to say to somebody that, let me throw this on you. So that's why I intend to take the calls myself, have that conversation. And with that as well, with the client, it builds that relationship with them as well. Knowing
Yeah.
the fact that it's the company directors here, and they're the ones who are actually calling and doing this rather than
Hmm.
having somebody else. Running a virtual business, virtual assistance company, you'd imagine somebody'd say, why wouldn't you just get one of your staff to do the
Yeah.
calls for you? And this is the reason why, because we know how the business works.
Hmm.
Excuse me. We get people that come on who are completely new to the business. They've just been seen on the Facebook groups and things there. They've
Yeah.
just been seeing us and hearing us, and they want help and support. So we
Yeah.
want to have that way that you can show them that, look, we're here to help and support you as well.
Hmm.
If you are going to grow and you're working with alongside us, you're working with us, then automatically we're going to grow as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we keep it on the scale that, well, it's just all about one person only, you're never going to grow.
No, 100%. 100%. I love that. So I guess probably one question to wrap
Go
this
ahead.
up would be
Go ahead.
if you could give some advice to someone who's looking to start, we won't say a property business, we'll just say a business, like someone who's working full time and that they really want to start a business. What would your advice be to them? Like if they came to you and said, "Look, mate, I'm looking at starting a business. I just need a bit of advice and someone to G me up a little bit." Like what would you say to them?
So I think any person who come to me, for example, and say to me that, look, what would you say to start a business?
Hmm.
I say, look, nowadays, don't just sit there and look at anything on YouTube or
Yeah.
anything and say, oh, I can set this up, or it's an easy ride to go through. Maybe sit down and work out what are your traits, what is it you're good at
Mm.
as a person. Find out what your skill sets are first.
Yeah.
If you're good at sales, a lot of people when they see sales, they see sales being it's a non-transferable skill.
Hmm.
You'll see sales is in every single business you go into.
Yeah.
You have that sales aspect. How good are you at communicating? How good are you talking? Within the realm of what we are in now, of the internet and everything here, there's so many different businesses a person can go into,
Yeah.
or so many different journeys. For example, somebody who loves to talk, they can communicate. They're not really a sales orientated person. They're not a person who can go out there and maybe go into a building company or set up a building firm, go into property, do anything. They might want to just do a podcast. They're a
Hmm.
person who loves to just talk.
Yeah.
They have that sort of flow in them that they can make the other person have that conversation with them.
Yeah.
They would start a podcast. It's for my main thing I would say to anybody is, look, find your skill first. Once you
Yes.
know your skill and you know what you feel you'll be good at, then work
Mm.
out what your interest will be into.
Yeah.
It's all good and well that we say that, look, business, I just want that. When I was much younger, the only thing I ever wanted to sort of hear was have my own business.
Hmm.
For me, what was a business? It was have a shop,
Yeah. Okay.
because that's what we always saw as a young age. We saw my uncles, my dad,
Mm.
family members having businesses where there were normal shops. But nowadays, the normal shop business is now really not there.
Yeah.
Where is your normal shop now? It's on your laptop, it's on your phone.
Yeah. Of
That's
course.
your normal shop
Yeah.
nowadays. Yeah, that's where the growth is now.
Mm.
And it's to work out what skill sets do you have? What skill sets do you want to get into? See what are the best avenues and skills that you have.
Mm.
And then based on that, have a look at can it become a business?
Yeah.
Can you then run it as a business?
Yeah.
There's always going to be trials and errors. You're always going to have your ups and downs. You're going to
Mm.
start it off. You're going to see your first hurdles. Maybe have a look at somebody to maybe even mentor you in that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you go out there and find a guru mentor who's going to
Mhm.
charge you an arm and a leg, but you're sitting down and thinking to yourself, look, I want to set a business to come out of my debt, not go
Yeah.
back into debt.
Yeah. For sure.
You know, but there's a number of different things out there that are here to help you. You've got, for example, your podcasts, you've got
Hmm.
people that you can reach out to, you've got different community groups. So work those out first and then set your plan of action of how you want to do this,
Yeah.
how you can slowly, step by step take this. And that'll be it really. And I think once you start doing that, it's always that it's always that first check that comes in or that first payment that comes in for me.
Mm.
Be it be it the first payment of maybe even £10, for example.
Hmm.
I think that was the first sale I've done on, I don't know if I can say it on the platform, but eBay.
Okay. Yeah.
Sold the product, and lo and behold, got paid for it. And I was like, whoa, hold on, this actually works. You can actually get paid online.
Yeah.
I thought this was just a YouTube myth. I didn't know you can actually get
Yeah.
paid like this. And it's to see those small little things there that help you to understand. Okay, those are your achievement. For me, that is an achievement. Seeing those small little things to
Of
start off
course.
first. and then understand, okay, this is how the growth is. So work it out. To anybody, I'd say sit down, work out your plan of action, see how you are as an individual, what's the best possible skills that you have, or what can you learn within your time frame,
Mhm.
and then go for it. If you
Yeah.
believe in it, you truly believe in it, go for it. Because there's nobody else. Everybody can sit there and judge you as much as they want. But if you know inside of you that you're happy, you're satisfied with what you're doing, you
Mhm.
crack on with it.
Yeah. I love that. I think it was I think it was Jim Carrey who said it. Something that his dad said, and it was like you you can fail at something you hate
Yeah, I
doing,
think I remember.
so you may as well fail at something that you love. Like, and I think that is so important. Like everyone's just money. Like everything's like, oh, I just want to make money, and like they don't really care about the happiness. I feel like if you can focus on something that makes you feel good, then the rest of it will come. Like you've just got to make sure that you know you're playing to your strengths and you're learning as much as you can, and you're trying to do what you think is right morally, and then it can be great.
That's one of the reasons why we're all in the sort of business. If you look at every single person out there who's in the business they're in, when you get to a certain point, obviously like those big corporate
Hmm.
people out there, but if you have a look at everybody else when they're in a business and the businesses that are flourishing, that are making a lot of money,
Mm.
are the ones that the people who enjoy doing what they do.
Yeah,
They know they're the expert at that business.
yeah,
They enjoy that business. They enjoy doing what they're doing. And those businesses for them become the best thing ever
yeah,
because they know and they understand. You hear a few stories that they might not work out because they overdo things.
yeah.
But if you enjoy the business that you do, they become national brands or major big brands
Hmm.
out there as well. Anything as long as you enjoy it.
Yeah,
So enjoy the ride of it. That's all I would say. Enjoy the ride
mm.
of it. You're gonna get ups and you're gonna get downs all the time, but it's part of life.
Yeah. 100%. I love that. That was solid advice. So before we end then, mate, do you want to do a cheeky shameless plug on the VAs for essays?
Oh, okay, so guys, we VAs for essays. We've got our Instagram pages there as well. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna hopefully plug in Declan a special little discount code. So
Awesome.
I'm not gonna throw the price out yet
Yeah,
on here. I'm gonna throw Declan over a special little price, which obviously he can provide at the end of the podcast itself
yeah,
to all his viewers and listeners. But we do provide virtual assistants on the platform there for all sorts of services on service accommodation. We are soon to launch as well with this our sourcing deal company as well. So we'll be
awesome.
able to obviously source properties for you. In the sourcing field, we're not just looking at properties which we're just looking to throw out any properties because we understand the market. We
Yeah,
obviously make sure that we see if the property will be feasible first of all. We'll run all our numbers and tests. We'll check everything and we'll see if this works well. If the numbers stack up, that's the only time that we'll be offering the services out to our clients or properties, anything as such. With that, we've also got a few more projects coming in the pipeline, which we'll have. But guys, pop onto our Instagram pages, our web pages. I don't know if we say the website details or should I just
yeah.
plug
No,
in?
I can link it in the podcast as
Yeah,
well, mate.
that'd be
Yeah,
perfect. If you link it into the podcast,
yeah,
you'll be able to see the Instagram page, the Facebook page.
yeah.
I think we're a lot more heavy on the Facebook
Yes.
in chats and groups. Instagram's a bit more different. It's not as
Mm,
group orientated as much as
yeah, for
Facebook.
sure.
So a bit advertising a bit too much for Facebook there.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Well, I'll link everything in the podcast anyway, mate. And I'll
Definitely.
probably have you on again very soon.
Well, definitely, it's been an absolute pleasure, Declan.
Yeah. Thank
Absolute
you
pleasure.
very
Like I
much,
said,
mate.
first time, but absolute pleasure.
Yeah. Cheers, buddy. Thank
All
you for your
right, take
time.
care. Take care. Thanks a
Thanks.
lot.